Okay, so be on your best behavior because we also have Charlie's grandson here. So some of the usual banter, you have the sensors up a little bit here. We want to give this kid a good impression because we don't want to lose him. Good. All right, so we have the pleasure of Rhett presenting his artillery loads. And the unfortunate thing was, God, they're still downloading. Oh no. Anyway, we got about half of the photos that he sent me for this presentation. And Rhett, I think you're cool with this, but if people have questions as you go along, are you okay being interrupted, or would you rather go through your whole presentation?
No. Interruption's fine. No
Cool.
problem. I mean, the truth is, I'm already nervous because all you great guys are here.
Right. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what, Rhett. When they send me through the chat all their criticisms, I'll make sure that I don't publish that. So before we start, fellas, I want to give a gentleman new to the group here a little bit of airtime. Where is David? Oh, there he is. David Poteet. So David, just give the group a sense of how you connected with us and what your interest is.
Well, I was lucky enough to find some of your videos on YouTube, just scanning through, looking for Civil War stuff, and happened across your gatherings and your videos, loved it, and sent a message. I don't remember how far back, maybe 10 or 12 months ago, but I sent it on a device that I guess you didn't read a lot, and you happened to find it, and we connected, and you've been a fine enough gentleman to keep me awake while I've been driving many long trips, and I thank you so much for that. So, David Petit from Sebring, Florida, past railroad engineer on the New Georgia Railroad from Atlanta to Stone Mountain and back Georgia route. And just looking forward to learning a lot from a lot of guys that know what they're doing.
So just so that you guys know, for maybe a future conversation, the presentation, David is quite versed in the Western and Atlantic Railroad and had, I think you met Colonel Bogle.
Colonel Bogle, yes, sir.
Yep, and others. So he's got some great stories. And if you want to tap into some information that he's even been able to, I talked to David about things like where the sand facilities would be. I mean, he knows some stuff. So we got to figure out a way to get that knowledge on tape or somehow. So thank you for joining us, David.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Turntable discussion.
Very good. Very good. You're the next turntable discussion. So Rhett, you ready to go, or do I want to kill some time while you finish eating?
No, I'm ready to go.
All right. I'll bring up your
this meeting is being recorded is on my screen. I'd like to get rid of that.
Did you know a button that says got it?
Huh?
There should be a little button that'll say got it. You click on that button and that should have it go away.
It doesn't, there's nothing that says got it. The only thing is continue or leave meeting.
Continue.
Oh, okay. All right, done. Now, how can I get this back to a full screen?
go to your view button.
I don't see the
Top right.
top right. Yeah, okay. And do what?
If you click on view, it should give you the option for a full screen.
It says exit full screen. Is that the one?
Oh,
Well, then
Can
you're
you
in
see-
full screen.
Really?
Well, if it says exit full screen, you're probably there already.
Okay.
Well, now there's
Alright.
also a speaker view and gallery view. Is that? Because you're in full screen if it gives the option to exit full screen.
All right, wait a minute.
Yeah, if it's gallery view, basically you should be seeing everybody.
I just did, I just did it. I just did it. It came up a normal way and I hit a box and it came in full screen. Okay. I don't see everybody else, but I see me talking on the side.
Yeah, you're probably on speaker view, but that's okay, as long as you can see the
I-
images, and I'll scroll through as you indicate.
Okay. All right. I guess it's time to get started. Are you waiting on me, Tom?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. This is the first. This is the engine that pulls the artillery consist, and this was actually I got this from Tom, and he got it from Al Miller, and it was nothing but a plastic boiler and a plastic tender, and he wanted it to be. He had made decals for it to be the General Sherman, which was a fantasy of the other one, the Grant, and so it's like a reverse color, reverse exactly the same engine, only completely in blue and in reverse, and it's called the General Sherman, and it's basically a Tyco boiler and wheels, and everything else is picked here and there and everywhere. So it's a great runner. I managed to find two wheels that had traction tires on it. Actually, one wheel I had to grind the back out behind the spokes so that you could see through them, which was really a drag. That the last Tyco engines and Mantua engines, they all had die-cast wheels that were, the molds had gone bad, and so you couldn't see through the spokes. But you can take a Dremel tool and a grinder, and you can grind the back, and you get them. They look the same, and you don't see them anyway from the other side.
Hey, Rhett,
Yeah.
that crosshead guide, where's that from? That's
Oh, good question. Too much. That's actually, God, I remember. I can't remember the guy's name that made these, and then Jerry, we discussed them, and Jerry carried them further so that the rear part of the crosshead guide was actually one piece, and so all four bars were connected together already, and it was great. You didn't have to try and put two crosshead bars, to each side, four crosshead bars. You didn't have the trouble trying to put those together. And the way Al had figured that out was he used different gauge, temperature solders. And so he'd use one temperature solder that was really high, putting that together, and then you use a low temp solder to solder it to the cylinders. Wow. And what a drag. Totally a drag. It's bad enough that I had to drill all the holes for the snifter valves underneath and all that stuff. But, you do, that's what you do.
right.
I've gotten to the point where, I'm like most of you guys, when you see something and something's missing, you can't stand it.
Right.
You have to put it on there, even if it's plastic junk. It's got to go on. Anyway, Jerry did such a great job having these machined that you literally could just super glue the crosshead guides onto the cylinder.
Wow.
Back of the cylinder. You didn't have to solder it anymore. So it worked great.
Cool.
And if you can, I don't know if you can enlarge any of this stuff, but if you could enlarge that and see that, you could see what I was talking about. Yeah, look at that. You see, there's actually four bars there.
Yeah.
And the back is all one piece. It used to be two pieces, and you had to solder those bars together, and that was very difficult. Mostly because most people didn't understand that you use two different temperatures of solder. So you'd put solder this together, and then you go to solder it on the cylinders and the whole thing fall apart.
Right.
Not fun. Well, anyway, there's some other interesting things on this engine. If you can look at the flag stanchions, yeah, raise it, yeah, zoom it in again. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, you can see I actually turned those in a drill.
Oh,
In a
Jesus.
motor tool. It was a piece of aluminum that I pawned the brass and I turned them, and you can see they're turned. It works great. I've done a bunch of stuff. You just stick it in the moto tool and hold a file to it.
Nice.
So that's pretty neat. And then of course there's one of those brass bells, and the stack is not the stock that came with the engine. This is a stack that actually goes on the Yona, which was a very common stack. And I just really like the way it looks, so I use that one instead of the other one. It lights up. And the other thing is I filled the cab with weights. And then I actually put plastic windows in and painted the backside black. Well, I've since found, I don't know if you guys know about this website. It's a gaming website, but you can get all kinds of cannons and figures, and horses and guns. Later, I'll show you all the guns that I got from this website. And it's a gaming website, and I can't remember it. I should have written it down. I will, but now they've got figures in there that are heavy enough that I can take the weight out of there and put these figures in there. And they're oversized, but not that much. They're a little bit bigger than the 172, which is a little bigger. But the other thing is I got the traction tires and I put weight in the boiler. BBs, actually gunshot, I stuck in the boiler and drizzled a little crazy glue in there just to keep it from rattling around. And it also has the drive that I guess it was you, Jerry, that helped design that, where it's like the tiniest piece of, it's 0.0, I use guitar string, 0.011 drive for the drive shaft. And then you came up with the tiny universals, the tiny little balls and universals for that. And works great. You can't even tell there's a shaft in there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's real. Yeah, I guess if you guys want to know more about that, just ask Jerry. He knows all about it. That's great. I've got him on 3 engines, and it's really neat. So anyway, enough about that. Basically, this engine is parked in front of, I don't have the signage yet, but it's parked in front of a U.S. ambulance division where it will be transporting a lot of guns manufactured up here. A lot of them were manufactured in Schenectady, which I actually modeled on the backside. And if these other pictures come to you, you'll be able to see it. But
One thing that smokestack makes me wonder, when did they start using spark arresters? Was that in the Civil War or was that after?
Oh, it was sooner.
It was, yes.
Much sooner.
30s.
Yeah. Because of the damn engines would start forest fires.
If you see a funnel stack, that's part of the system.
Right.
To prevent those embers from going out. And as Rhett just said, starting forest fires.
The ladies didn't like all the cinders going in their hats either.
So true.
It's true. It's absolutely true. Anyway, let's move on to the next picture.
All right.
If you will.
Well,
okay, here's a little bit of showing the outside. And basically, first thing I want to do is show you this. Oops. Yeah, this is good, Tom. This is actually the full train. You'll see a house car up front. that's right behind a cattle car. There was actually 2 cattle cars I made for this consist, but it just got to the point where I couldn't take a picture of all of it. And you'll see, Tom, you'll see right behind me, there's my Pioneer, one of them, the Crooks.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's one.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, this is the full consist, and all right, there's howitzers first car, Gatling guns second car, Winfield's third car, and um, the last car is Napoleon's. And
You said Whitfields, you mean Whitworth's?
Whitworth, yes. Whoops. Yes, thank you. Whitworth.
Welcome.
And then the Napoleons, and then the very last car is actually an officer's car. And the cattle cars were for all the horses, because there was a lot of horses that had to be used to carry this stuff. It was very heavy. Usually some of these cannons have the limber with them, some don't. I couldn't make the train that long. I could double head it, which you were talking about that. A lot of my engines I can double head. I've got that bar that comes out from the cattle car that's actually got a hole and actually works. And so double heading is something I love to do, but I don't know how much they did that with the artillery cars. I think they tried to keep them as short as possible, but maybe for speed, I'm not sure. There's not a lot you can read about this. And I've yet to see a clear picture of a full consist. Yet to see one anywhere. If anybody's got one, let me know. Let me have it. I'll pay you for it. Okay, let's move to the next picture. Okay, and we're getting into, Tom asked me to do pictures of building stuff. So here's 8 or 9 cannon barrels that I'm painting, and you can see on the third one from the bottom, the front of the barrel is blue. I hadn't painted that side yet.
Okay.
Some of these are silver, some of these are pewter, and some are plastic. Most of them are metal, though. Okay, next picture. Okay, yeah, here they are being painted, and I would, these were 4 for the train, and I had actually scuffed them up, painted them a little bit more to try to get them a little smoother. Then, of course, there's riding on a painter's cap in my booth, my spray booth. Okay.
All right. Oh, get out. Hang on.
Yeah.
Oh, baby. There we go.
Okay. This is the picture of the cap in the spray booth. And of course, you see the whole thing is lined with paper. That way it'll still look new once I'm done with it. I got to change the filter though. All right. Okay, here we go. This is a picture of me. I'm starting off, I'm putting the chucks. You see, I've cut the chucks to go under the tires. That's the 4 pieces of lumber. And of course, there's some pails around it. I'm not sure exactly, unfortunately, I'm not sure. There was always pails dangling from beneath the cannons. And of course, they were either just put up straight. Does anybody know what those pails were used for? I don't.
Yeah, water you would push the swab would go into the pail for water to cool the barrel down when you swabbed it out.
One was water and one was grease. They carried a pail of axle grease as well.
Yes.
Yeah, they didn't want any burning embers in the tube while they were putting gunpowder.
Right. I understand. And of course, the Whitworth, it was just to keep the barrels clean. And like you say, to keep embers out of it because it was a breech loader. Yeah,
Right.
You can see that in the picture. You'll see that there's you can open the barrel from the rear.
Are those swabs to the left?
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah, I've made them one for each cannon. I should have made two, but I didn't. I'm learning as I go. And there's one soldier up there. He's kind of lonely. The rest of the crew didn't put their clothes on yet, so I haven't used them. So, all right, now this is another picture of these are the Whitworths, and you can see here I'm lining. You have to take some time to line the chocks up against the wheels and how they go on the car, and you have to know that. And you can't really mark it because you can mark it, but you got to make sure that when you mark it, the wood goes over the mark. You know, you don't want a bunch of pencil marks on the top of the deck.
Right.
So there they are. That's the first set is going on. And okay, this is more pictures. Tom asked me to show building stuff, and I actually only started doing it on the very last car that I was building, and that was the Wentworth car. Here I'm putting chain through the spokes, and then that will get routed into the stake pockets on the side of the car. And you'll see that next. No, you won't. But you see it in other pictures. This is one of the, it's actually a horse car. They use these cattle cars for horses and for troops. A lot of the troops, they had to ride in these things. And of course, this was a BTS model with the trucks are, yeah, what's the name of the company, Tom, that he's kept?
That's Bitter Creek?
Yeah, these are Bitter Creek trucks. And I had them put on the wheels that came from, oh God.
Northwest?
No, they're more common than that.
Intermountain?
Nope, it's none of those. It's I'll think of it when I do. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
They're good wheels. They're solid. I make sure that when I buy wheels that the axles and the tires and the wheel, everything are metal.
Mm-hmm.
It tracks much better and all that. I remember I started out doing all this stuff. I started like you, Tom. We must have started 20 years ago. We started scratch building.
Right.
And I was using the wheels that look great, and that's they're plastic axles, but they're powdered steel wheels. What the hell are they? And
Katie?
no, they've got the numbers and our information on the sides of the wheel, and they got the ribs on the back. And they're great looking wheels, but they're terrible because it's splintered, sintered iron, and it picks up dirt off the rail like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, those are Katie.
Yes, KD, the KD ones, and they're terrible. They look great, and everybody loves to use them. Then you run them around the track 3 or 4 times, and they're just a dirty sliding mess. And you wish you never bought them. So
I would have to say I had nothing to do with it.
Oh, really? And why?
Well, the thing is, my last name's Katie, but it's spelled completely differently.
Oh, okay. Good for you. You just slid under the bar with about 3 inches. All right. Anyway, this is BTS. And the only thing I did different about it is you probably, if you go over, Tom, and enlarge where the brake wheel attaches itself on the upper part. Yeah. Enlarge that, you'll see a lantern in there.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's kind of hard to see, but there it is. It's cute.
That's cool. That's nice.
So, and I built the doors. The door, it came with the door that was just a solid piece. It looked like the roof. Looked exactly like the roof. That was the door.
So
And,
a couple questions, Rhett.
Yeah.
Is that turnbuckle a titchy turnbuckle?
Is that what?
The turnbuckle.
What about it?
Is it titchy or is it metal?
That one I think is titchy, which is a full turn. It's full forge, right? The Tachis are plastic, but it's a full forge.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, you know, both the front and the back look the same. They look good and you can see through them.
right.
And I just started using them recently. I still have some metal turnbuckles. God help me, every time I saw some come up for sale, I grabbed them and chased them down. And I still have about 8 of them, but these things knocked me out from by the way they looked. And you mount them exactly the same way. The only thing is you got to be careful. You can break them. A little, you can't break the metal ones, but these you can break. But their silhouette and their lines are like perfect.
And whose couplers are you using on there?
These are Jerry Dobbs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I managed to buy some from Tom.
Tom who?
Not Tom. God. DC.
You got me confused with DC. Whoa.
Well, you know, DC's better looking, so I just thought it would be a nice compliment.
Thanks, Rhett.
Okay, I'll take it as a compliment. That's
Well, yeah, well, you know, you and Jerry both look great, so you know, and the truth is, all you guys look great, and I'm scared to death.
You're doing fabulous, Rhett. You're doing fabulous.
Oh, thank you, Tom. Anyhow, and this is a BTS house car. I love these. And I got these trucks from UDC. Was it you? These
I think those look like Al Mueller's, the trucks. They look like BTS trucks that Al Mueller might have.
They're not BTS. They're actually oh God.
Are they resin or 3D?
No, they're steel. They're all steel, and you have to make them. They come in a kit.
Oh, that sounds like BTS trucks. I might have sold you.
They are BTS truck. He sold them, but they were something creative.
Master Creations?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Yep. And I brought them from, I thought I bought 3 pairs from one of you guys and then 2 pairs from somebody else.
Yep. Yep.
I can't remember. But
so, Rhett, I noticed you have these brackets on the cars. BTS, does that come with the kit, or did you put those
no,
on?
I found those. I found those. Those are oh God, I did. You're asking questions I didn't think that would be asked, but are totally pertinent. Those are
I remember.
They're pretty common. They're pretty common.
They look like Grant.
They look like the Grant Line ones for oh God, but they're not. They're not Grant Line. They look like them.
Are they plastic or?
Yes, they're plastic, and they're a bitch to bend, and you have to paint them before you put them on. And the paint likes to go, "Hi, screw you." I'm jumping off.
Speaking of paint, what color of did you paint that car? Do you remember?
Yes, it's it's a blue. Believe it or not, it's a blue, and it's from Polyscale. I'm still a big fan of Polyscale, and I happen to still have quite a bit of it. All the bottles are getting very low. Yeah, it was Polyscale, and it was just a blue, a silver, a steel blue actually. And the roof is just a kind of a standard lighter brown. And that's pretty much it.
Is that a metal roof?
No.
Okay.
No, it's oh, wait a minute. You know, you might be right. It might be a metal roof. I would have to know by getting an aerial shot. I'm pretty sure it is a metal roof. As a matter of fact, I know it is.
Yeah, because it looks like
seams.
Yeah.
Those are the seams. It is a metal roof.
Yeah. Okay.
And that was, it's funny, again, questions that I should have anticipated, but also nobody's asked me about the stirrups yet either. And those are pre-made. They're by, I think they're Tichy, but they're brass.
Right.
And you can see on the side, just above the coupler, you'll see a handrail, and those are pre-made, and those are Tichy, and they're brass. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I love these cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do. I love these trucks with these cars. I wish I could I had 20 more.
Hmm.
There you go.
Quick question. When did they changed over from using house car to box car?
You mean
Did-
house
did-
car to caboose?
No, yeah, I know what he's asking. He's asking about when did first it was house car and then it became box car.
Well, I've heard both terms used by different, or depending on the railroad.
Right. So you probably could answer this question, DC, better than I could.
Oh, I don't have a year, but I remember in the early reading in the early press, if you would,
Mhm.
both terms were used.
Right.
I mean, the B&O transported boxes of stuff in little four-wheel gondolas early on, and
So
and
they
some
call
of the constructions looked like houses. you know?
right. Right.
So,
Is box car the early term?
I think it's later.
I don't know which term would, I think it depended a lot on the railroad.
Right.
John?
Yeah, basically, house car meant anything with a roof. And originally, that also meant passenger cars too, anything that was enclosed.
Right.
Boxcar, I think, was just a slang term that got popular, probably
Interesting.
by the middle 1800s.
Cool.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, can we have some more confusion, please? No, it's great.
What kid is this from, Rhett?
This came out of, I don't know if you would remember, they had the cars for the Transcontinental Railroad. The
Yes.
1869, it was a set of the
Two-
passenger car and the service car. They were-
Westwood.
Yes, Westwood. And I happened to run it. I managed to get 4 of them. And this was the service car for the Central line. It ran before. First of all, both cars were very difficult to make, especially the passenger cars. You had to make it was almost a bullnose roof.
Are they wood?
Yes, they were all wood, except that they would do, like, the steps were plastic. The turnbuckles were little metal things that you crimped on
Wow.
wire. And the windows were plastic, but everything else was, ventilators were plastic. No, they were metal. Ventilators and metal, stacks were metal.
Oh, there it is. John's got one up here.
What?
He's showing a car.
I don't
I
see
can
it.
barely see it.
Oh, yeah, I could. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You know what,
see,
let
I
me do
don't
this
see
real
it.
quick.
I don't see it at all.
Where are you at? There it is over here.
Yeah.
If you, yeah,
Yeah, can you say something so we can get you on the main screen?
Hello?
Okay,
No.
yeah.
Hello?
I still have a couple sets that I haven't.
Oh, there's one. There's one. I got one downstairs just like that.
Yeah.
And the one you're looking at, that's the car.
Mhm.
Yep.
cool.
John, have you made any of these yet?
Oh, they build up fantastically, but
I know.
you're gonna spend 6 months doing it.
I know. I built 4 of them. Ugh,
Yeah.
4
Oh,
kits.
wow.
I have 1 kit left. They were great kits, but woo, they were difficult. Oh,
So this
yeah,
is your,
the other thing, the ends of the car were plastic. The where the the door was, that whole end was plastic. So you had to, that was a trip to get the plastic, the paint of the color of the plastic to match the paint of the color of the wood.
mm,
That was a trip. All right,
nice
let's,
job.
I guess, move on.
And that's the officer's car, right?
Yes. And also you can see I do it on all my cars. The end railings, I add another rail in the middle. Everybody leaves them out, and that's wrong.
Mm,
There's a third rail in all of those end railings.
okay. And
So-
those trucks are by who?
Uh, all I know is you can't get them anymore.
Okay, that's fine. That's all right. That's all right.
I got them from Jerry Dobb. I got about,
Oh, okay.
about 15 pairs.
Eric Cox is coming out with new U.S. Military Railroad and non-military railroad passenger car trucks.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
They're resin.
Okay, that's different than what he was doing before, right?
Yeah, before he was on Shapeways. This is from
Okay.
him direct. They
Okay.
are resin. He hasn't finalized his price, but he was thinking about $6 a pair.
Really?
So
That makes sense because I mean, Shapeways, it's like $30 a pair.
Yeah.
And you know what? The Shapeways, I got a pair of the trucks for I think they weren't these. Well, actually, these are Shapeways, these trucks here on this car, and they're wrong.
Oh,
They're much too thick, and the wheels hang up too far in the frame. The center of the axle is too far up in the journal.
Hmm.
So you don't even see the bottom of the wheels. Look at it.
yeah.
It's
How about
wrong.
Got it.
I don't like it.
Okay.
No, it's all right. It works. Anyway, this is a BTS. I used all BTS flat cars because I want them to be similar, and I really like them. This is an early make of the flat cars that were U.S. Military Railroad.
Are those
And-
Napoleons?
Yes. No. Oh, wait a minute. No, these are howitzers.
Oh, right. Okay.
You can tell by the thing sticking out the back
Oh, right.
and the big rims around the front barrel.
Got it.
So, and what's interesting is the way they loaded the limbers, and
Yeah.
that's correct.
Yeah.
Either that or there's at least 10 or 15 people out there that are determined to make me a liar. Well, anyway, okay, here we go. Tom had an interesting question for me about this car. You don't mind if I use you for a little humor, Tom, right?
By all means, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
He wanted to know what the reinforcement was around the front of the barrel. And that's when I had to explain to him that wasn't a barrel, that was 6 barrels. That these are Gatling guns. And that's how they basically had 5 or 6 normal guns just mounted in a circle, and then all shot by using a belt in the rear. It's pretty interesting. These things were cranked by hand,
Right.
and when they did that, it fed a belt that had the bulletin, which was used even by the Brownies in World War II. And they work great, and they're neat. They're small. These are small. You don't realize it until you put them next to the Napoleons or the howitzers. They're small guns, but they are powerful.
What's the barrel represent on your car?
The barrel?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that barrel.
Oh, that. He didn't want to know, but the guy was carrying fish in there for dinner. Actually,
I love it.
I actually am not real sure because I'd seen it, but I didn't know what it was. So I just did it. I thought it was fun.
That's cool.
You know, that's part of the hobby. You like to have fun with it too.
Yeah.
The box is ammo.
Right.
And the other smaller box is actually for cleaning the guns.
If anyone's interested, there's a company in Florida that makes a 1/3 scale model of a Gatling gun that is an actual working gun that fires 22 caliber rounds.
Wow.
And it'll fire up to 100 as fast as you can crank them out.
Right.
And it's not considered a licensed gun. It is basically 6 single shot rifles on a barrel or on a thing. And even in New Jersey, it's totally legal to own the thing. It's not considered a machine gun because you're hand cranking it.
Right.
Right.
And how much do they cost?
They go about 7,500.
That's not bad.
About 4 years ago, Cabela's out in Pennsylvania had one in their firearm section. Beautiful, beautiful piece. It was like a work of art.
Yeah.
1/3 scale models. Sat about
Well, that's the Howard.
36, 38 inches high off the floor.
Wow.
That's the Howard.
You don't want to carry this thing around and have anybody get mad at anybody. Yeah, this is the howitzer, Tom. We need to. Okay, these are the Wentworths. I don't know how many of you guys know about these rifles.
Octagon barrel.
No.
On the inside, no.
No, the inside was rifled and the bullet was rifled. Both pieces were rifled. Yep. And the barrel, the bullet itself was about 3 inches round, and it had very heavy striations that were molded into it in the form of a corkscrew around the outside of it. And that fit into the barrel that was also rifled. So these things were accurate in 1868. I mean, 1865, when the Confederates brought them over.
I believe they had a couple of them at Gettysburg, but to little effect.
Well, first of all, they didn't really know how to use them, how to aim them, and there was only 2 of them, and they were overwhelmed anyway. The Confederates, they were just overwhelmed. But anyway, this gun would shoot within 2 inches in a measurement on a target in 2 miles.
Wow.
That thing would travel 2 miles and only maybe be 2 inches off.
Wow.
Unbelievable. But so they would win every time they needed something to, take out something that was really hard to get at, and they could do it. But unfortunately, these didn't show up until the very end of the Civil War.
Right.
It was like, it's funny how the English had been trying to get them to use them since the beginning. The same thing happened with the Golden Boys, the Winchesters.
Actually, it was the Henry.
The Henrys, yeah, that's what they were called, the Henrys.
This company was the same company that made the sniper rifles that were used by the Confederates, right?
I don't know. That I don't know. I wasn't looking there.
Wentworth sniper rifle. That's where I got the idea that the inside of the sniper rifle.
Wait a minute.
The inside of the barrel was not rifled, but it had turns in it, and they were like an octagon pattern. And the bullet fit that, and that put the spin on the bullet, and that's what made it so much more accurate.
Well, that's very
The
similar.
Confederates took out a couple of Union generals with them.
Did they? Huh. Well, I don't know if they're related or not.
Same spelling on the company name.
Yeah.
Is it?
Armstrong, later became Armstrong Wentworth.
Cool. All right. Oh,
Now, was
right.
was the rifling in the same direction between the bullet and the bullet and the barrel, or were they in this or in sync? If that makes any sense.
From what I could see, it was just one shot. The bullet just started spinning at the same rate that the striations were. In other words, there wasn't any alternate mechanical movements or anything. It was all just straight ahead. As the bullet left the chamber, it was grooved to spin to the right. And so as it traveled down the barrel, the striations caused the bullet to spin even more to the right. It was just basically what it was more secure action.
Now, I think what he's saying was the barrel rifled in a clockwise manner and the projectile rifled in a counterclockwise manner, or
No.
were they both clockwise or both counterclockwise?
Both clockwise.
yep, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
I was noticing also none of those cars were painted. I know sometimes the military wants to just do what's needed. They're not really thinking of lasting a long time. Do you have any indication that that is? They just made them and skip any kind of finish?
Yeah, I ran across some pictures and they're not painted. They would throw maybe a clear varnish on them or something that was cheap. But the flat cars, took so much abuse. They just, what was the point of painting them? So.
Right. God, that's cool, Rhett. Really nice job, man. Your work is always stellar. I mean, the locomotives are killer. It's just great work. Thank you so much for taking the time to put this together.
Well, I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
I really
Yeah,
appreciate
thanks,
it.
Rhett.
Good.
Yeah.
Very much.
Are you feeling any less nervous?
Yeah, I'm feeling good, like I knew I would. And next week I'll have my teeth put back in.
Okay, right.
Oh God.
Uh,
If any of you guys have 20-year-old, 25-year-old teeth, watch out. It'll pop right out of your mouth and you don't even know it.
any more questions for Rhett about his train?
I just had one comment.
Mhm.
I don't know if you're familiar with the Artilleriist Manual by Gibbon. He wrote it just before the Civil War.
Yeah.
There's a few pages in there on loading artillery on trains. Might be interesting to look at that.
Is that the one where he showed the actual, all the different cars that were required?
Yeah, was that the black and white silhouette drawings?
There's no, I don't know if there's any drawings on the loading the trains, but he talks about, putting horses in stock cars or box cars,
Right.
and just kind of the order of where the cars are in the train, stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's it, Mike. That's the silhouette where it shows how many cars were required for a particular train,
Right.
and the variety of cars. I think that's from Gibbon.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any pictures, but there's some text.
No,
about
yeah,
10
there's no
pages or
pictures.
So
No pictures, they're just
Oh.
illustrations, right?
no, there's not even illustrations.
Really?
It's 10 pages of text that talks about how to load cars, how to unload them. Talks about carrying some extra wood for ramps in case you got to unload and you don't have a loading dock, stuff like that.
Right.
So
The drawing you're referring to, Tom, I believe was based on the information from Gibbon.
Ah, very good. Very good. Thank you. Yep. I've got those. If anybody wants them, just send me an email and I can send you.
You know what? I have them too. The problem is with those cars is none of his flat cars are full length.
Right.
They were all shorter than these cars
Right.
that were used.
Yeah, I wonder how accurate is that, Rhett?
Well, I read in other places about, the only thing that I'm sure about is the way they loaded the limbers with the two cannons on the end. Um, the Gatling guns was guesswork, educated,
Right.
and there wasn't that much information on that period. And there are no pictures to be found of loaded artillery train.
The only one I saw, it's not a photograph, but it is that wad drawing of Longstreet's troops coming into not Chattanooga, but just before Chickamauga, and it shows artillery on a platform car. I can post that to
Well,
you.
when you say platform car, you mean a flat car?
A flat, it was actually a small gun. It was a flat car with sides.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I got a note here. Couple of folks, when you get a chance, you don't have to do it now, Rhett, but would like to know the source for your guns and other parts of the train.
Okay. All
Your
right.
chain, all that stuff. That would be cool.
I'll look that up and write it down and get it.
Great. Great.
I'll text it to you.
Yeah, right.
And it won't show up.
So I want to ask one of our new folks here, Wills. So what do you think about this? Any comments, observations to share? Help your granddad figure out how to turn off the mute, will you?
He just did. It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So you enjoyable?
Definitely.
Good. We appreciate having the youth on board, man. It's great.
Now what we're going to do is we'll have a special meeting in secrecy with you, and on teaching you how to get your grandfather to buy all the stuff for you.
That's great. Cool. Any other updates? We got a couple of minutes here, and just wonder if anybody care to share anything. I will just say before we get started with that, in my prior email, you'll see that there's some layout updates coming up. If you were indicated for a particular day, just let me know so I can make sure that I don't inadvertently schedule you and you're not ready to go. So any comments, questions?
I got one. I just wanted, when I was talking about the Whitworth, it's not actually a rifled barrel. That's what the inside the barrel looks like. And then the bullet inside it matched that, right? Well,
that pattern.
And that's what made those rifles so accurate.
Right.
Well, but that thing spun in the barrel.
It did have a spin to it. Yeah,
it was barrel, and the outside of the bullet was the same thing.
We put a spin on it, and much higher spin, much faster, and it was much more accurate.
Right.
They took out a couple of Union generals during the war.
Right.
Well, I do know one thing.
What's that?
That gun shot 2 miles would be only 2 inches off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Very, very, very accurate.
Yeah.
Phil,
the other thing is somebody.
Sorry to interrupt. It's completely off topic, but I got my first driving axles from Scale Link for my 040 scratch build project.
Whoa.
So
cool. I'm sure that'll be a presentation coming up.
Yeah, I'm actually building the presentation as I build the engine. So
good man.
That Scale Link stuff's nice stuff.
Yeah. So
Jerry, is that the stuff that we'd have to order from England?
It is.
Yep.
So you have to order this from England or not?
Yep, I did.
Oh, what a pain in the ass.
It's just like ordering from Amazon, except it takes a long time to get here.
Well, no, there's a large mailing charge.
Well, there is, yeah.
Don't say there isn't. There is.
Oh yeah, there is. I
have 4 two sets of those wheels for the, one's for the Yona and one was for the engine, the Sheridan that I just built. But I didn't really see the need for it. It was too much trouble because I was talking to Jerry and he was saying how you have to put in the rod in the face of the wheel just for the crank pins.
Yep.
Real pain in the ass. How are you imagining to keep that totally true when you put them in? What's your secret?
I hadn't gotten that far yet. My
Okay.
guess is that I might
gonna
use like a machine tool, like a drill press or something.
Well,
Yeah,
that's what you're gonna have to do.
you definitely want to use a drill press, and you want to pre-thread them a bit too.
Yeah.
There is a metric tap and die set that you can buy for about $14, and I
Okay.
think it's got that. I think it's like a 0.8 millimeter thread. But you can thread the crank pin into the die plate to find out which one it is, and then
Okay.
you pre-thread the wheel with that, and that way you get them nice and square.
Yeah.
And that's coming from somebody that did it the wrong way and got them all screwed up.
Oh yeah.
I know better now.
Oh boy,
That's good.
that was on the that was that on the Ohio engine that you made, Jerry?
It was on the
six-wheel
Grant. I think I used Roundford drivers on the Grant,
Oh, okay.
and I used them on the Thatcher Perkins,
Yeah, the Perkins. Yeah. Was it
the
which
4.6.
one? The 460, the
The
Perkins. Was
460
that, is that the one that messed up? Which one messed up on the crank pins?
The Grant, the first set. The
okay.
second set got done square.
Oh, good.
But yeah, you kind of learn as you go along.
Right.
Don't we all? That's the game, man. You keep learning. You keep learning.
Yeah.
Good. Well, gentlemen, I'm going to call it a wrap for the evening. Thank you so much. This is a great turnout. Boy, it's good to see so many faces.
Yeah.
And I'll look forward to seeing the layout updates, which will start in a couple of weeks. And happy modeling, gentlemen.
All right.
Thank
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Rhett.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Good
You're
night.
more than welcome.
Good night.
Thanks all you guys.
Thanks for doing.
Night all.
Bye, Tom. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was great.
Thank you, Tom.